So today I want to talk about the 5 principles of social impact. Why is it that 2 people have the same opportunities and same educations and one become a successful game changer and the other one doesn't reach a level of success or impact? This question, we discussed it many times while I was working as a manager at the University of Amsterdam for 8 years. And we were talking about it, and after that, I left the university, became an entrepreneur, traveling all over the world. I met a lot of social entrepreneurs and also students, career professionals, who asked me this question: how can I change my society? How can I change my surroundings? How can I create impact? And then I would ask them, if it is an entrepreneur, I would ask them, do you have a plan? If it is a career professional, I would ask them, what's your passion? And if it's a student, I would ask them, what would you do after 5 years? So while I was traveling and I went to more than 20 nations, so I met a lot of people, and I wanted to share this story, what I saw and what I observed. So it is so funny because a few days ago, I had a discussion with a few entrepreneurs, and they were talking about, what is a social entrepreneur? Aren't you just an entrepreneur? I said, no, a social entrepreneur is completely different from a regular entrepreneur. You want to create a social impact. So after somebody said it, said, please explain. I went back home and I researched it. I looked for a good definition, of course, Stanford. And I said, okay, this is the correct definition. Social impact, how organizations or people's actions affect the surrounding community. So how can you how can you affect the surrounding community? How can your organization affect the surrounding community? Well, I researched more, and then I discovered these 5 principles, and it was also nice to make it the 5 C's. So I will go with you through all these 5 C's and explain to you what I observed. And I will share a few stories of people I met, and also just stories I found by reading articles. Finding stories about people who created social impact. So the first thing I discovered is that most of the people that created a huge social impact looked for an opportunity. They looked out for an opportunity. And one of the persons, I looked up a lot of entrepreneurs and career professionals, and I found one. Nowadays, they would call her a refugee, Estée Lauder, who started right after World War II selling beauty products. But what she did is not just sell beauty products, she started sampling products. So nowadays, when you buy a beauty product and it's a sample, it was an idea by Estée Lauder. She created an impact, a business impact, and she became also a successful entrepreneur, also helping other female entrepreneurs. The other thing I explain most of the time when people say, I want to change, I want to break through, is that clarity is very important. You have to strategize. You have to look where am I going? Visualize your goals. I know a tech entrepreneur by the name of Marian Spier. She's from Senegal. She was trafficked to France, and now her goal is to reach 1 million young women all over the world to teach them how to code. And everything about her is how to reach that goal. She travels all over the world. We discussed it many times. She has a clear strategy. She can visualize it. She can explain it. Have a passion for what you do. So a lot of people think that when you're passionate, that you're emotional. That's not true. I spoke to one of the co-founders of TomTom, a female entrepreneur, who said, I go for what I want, and I don't do it alone, I do it with my team. And I make sure that I sit at the table. There's a lot of people are talking about seat at the table. But she said, when you have a seat at the table, it is very important not to become the menu at the table, which was for me really an eye-opener. Because a lot of time, with all our passion, we want to have a seat at the table at what you want to achieve, change the world or change your surrounding. But be careful not to become the menu. You need to have an entrepreneurial mindset. You need to be ready. I organized a startup award for young entrepreneurs, and you can see that they want to, they're so focused on creating a perfect product. But a perfect product is not enough. You need to have an entrepreneurial mindset. How will you reach that goal? Strategize. Is it clear? What do you want? A lot of time people create beautiful products, but they cannot explain to an investor or even to their colleague what they really want or what they really need. So you need to have an entrepreneurial mindset. The last one is be considerate and determined. That is something that I observed also. Be purposeful and meaningful in everything you do. Lex Peters is a gynecologist and oncologist I've known for many years. He's even retired now. And what was so an eye-opener for me is that he told me, for 40 years, I go to my job full of joy. I was like, oh no, I'm not that kind of person. That's amazing. But after his retirement, he even went further. He wasn't not just a professor. After that, he wanted to save especially young women's lives. And what he did is he discovered that with vinegar and with a piece of cotton, you can save a young woman's life so that she will not, you can prevent cervical cancer. And for me, this is somebody who is almost 17 years old, but so determined. And not just determined to make a lot of money, which is also good, but really to impact his society and his surroundings, not just in the Netherlands, but also in the world. So, in conclusion, a lot of times people want to create social impact, and what I've seen, I've talked about these 5 C's, is that most of all these people, they work very hard. That is one thing they all do. But it is also not about them. They want to change their society. So if you're here, and you're an entrepreneur, or maybe a student, or a career professional, you can start by changing and applying 1 C. Thank you.